There is no other way to say this. Golf in the winter sucks. Especially if you live in the UK. So many of us actually get worse at golf over the winter purely because we're not actually playing golf. Either the courses are too wet, you don't like playing off winter tees, we're using mats in the middle of the fairways, and the weather is just awful. No one wants to play when it's cold and raining. In today's video, I'm going to make sure you are better at golf by the time the 2025 season starts. I've got 5 different ways to help you get better at golf this winter. Let's get into it. I'm sorry, but I am going to be that guy who's going to talk about your short game. Let's be honest, you never practice your short game in summer. And I don't blame you. All I'd want to be doing in the summer is playing some actual golf, getting out on the course with the boys and enjoying the summer. And that's why winter is the perfect time to be working on your short game. Getting better at chipping and putting is one of the quickest and easiest ways to lower your handicap. But if you're anything like me, I absolutely hate putting practice. So I've got a little game for you that's going to help you work on your putting whilst also improving your chipping. Most people tend to go down to the golf club and work on their chipping, and on another day they'd go down and work on their putting. I for one like to combine these two practices. I'll go over to the putting green at my local golf course in Spalding and I'll hit a few different chips at a few different flags, but make sure that I'm putting every single ball out. There's a few advantages to practicing your short game like this. One, it's way more interesting than standard putting drill practice. Number 2, it's more realistic. By putting out from actual chips you've hit to your target, the length of putt is going to be exactly what you'd expect out on the golf course. Sometimes you're going to have little 1-foot tap-ins, other times you're going to have 12-foot par saves. By playing this game, you'll have variation in your practice. The natural variation that you're going to get with this game is going to help you hone in this skill. Your scrambling stats go through the roof if you go down to your golf club once a week and play this game. And that's the third reason why this idea is so good. It's a game. It keeps it interesting. It's a really simple game and something you can tag on to your warm-up before you go out for a round of golf. Get down to the club half hour earlier than you normally would and work on this. You don't need to work on technique, you just need to work on reps. Practice makes perfect. Number 2 is another simple practice idea. Something not enough of us do is work on our 3/4 shot. How often this year have you been left in between clubs? When this happens, you're left with a choice. You either need to hit the shorter club as hard as you can, or hit the longer club softer than you normally would. 3/4 shots are much harder than they're made out to be. When we try to play these shots as mid-handicappers, it's so easy to lose our tempo and our timing. And when that happens, most of us lose our ability to strike the ball, or we lose our club face control. And when that happens, we are missing the green by a long way. So we need to add a 3/4 shot into the bag. Get confident with this shot and you will hit more greens. And just like the last idea, practice makes perfect with this. So next time you're down the driving range, dedicate a basket of balls to the 3/4 shot. Pick a target down the driving range, which is the average width of a green. And all you need to do is hit some 3/4 shots with your irons and wedges with a goal of landing the ball within that target. If you practice this shot, concentrating on keeping the ball straight, after you finish your basket of balls, the strike will come naturally. By dedicating part of your driving range routine to this part of your game, it's going to help you hit more greens out on the golf course. I've got a bonus game for you that might make this skill more interesting to practice. Grab yourself 25 to 50 golf balls. And the aim of this game is to make sure that your next shot goes further than your previous shot. So you might start off with a little chip, and your next chip has to go further than that one. And then your next shot has to go further than that one again. During this game, you're going to have to manufacture all sorts of different shots to make sure your next ball goes further than your last. And by definition, it's going to help you work on your in-between yardages. If you've never tried this game before, give it a go down the driving range. It can be quite fun, especially if you're playing it against someone else. A lot of you are not going to like this one. Now is the best time to get some golf lessons. If you're like me, after I've had a golf lesson, I tend to get worse before I get better. And that fact makes me really reluctant to get golf lessons during the summer. During the summer, I just want to play golf, and every time I go out and play it, I want to be my best. And quite frankly, having a lesson before I go out and play kind of ruins that. So winter is literally the best time because we're not playing that much golf and we don't really care if we get worse before we get better. So if you're having issues with your swing, go and get some lessons. Now is the best time. James, my local pro at Spalding Golf Club, he does package lessons where you can get 5 or 10 lessons for a great price. These lessons can be 30 minutes or 60 minutes. And by committing to 5 or even 10 lessons throughout the winter, you can come up with a plan of action of how to get better with each lesson, work on different parts of your game so that you are better by the start of the outdoor season. By the time you're ready to play some actual golf, your swing will be better than it ever has been. Although this isn't a free solution to better golf, it's arguably the most important. So get in touch with your local pro. Book some lessons. Number 4 is an absolute must if you want to lower your handicap next year. You have to work on your wedges. I don't mean chipping around the green, I mean 125 yards and in. We all know how important this area of the game is, and there are loads of different ways to be able to practice it. Personally, I like to randomize this practice. Luckily, I've got a golf simulator, and on the software I use on the driving range, you can randomize how far away the green is. I can make sure that the randomizer is picking distances between a minimum and a maximum, and having that distance change every shot or every 3 shots helps me work on my distance control. I do this with my irons as well, but mainly with my wedges. It's wedges where you really need to start hitting the ball closer to the hole. Now, I know a lot of people don't have golf simulators, but something that's more accessible are things like TrackMan driving ranges or Top Golf driving ranges. You may not be able to randomize the distance of targets at these driving ranges, but you can use your phone to randomize the distance for you to aim for. At the end of a normal driving range session, if you dedicate a bucket of golf balls to this type of practice, your distance control next year is going to be out of this world. If you don't have these types of driving ranges nearby, you can always find a local pitch and putt to work on this area of your game. Or even get out on the golf course and do this. On every hole that you play, just drop a ball between 50 and 125 yards and hit a shot at the green. Sometimes there's nothing better than real life practice. We're lucky at Spalding Golf Club because there is a 6-hole par 3 course that we can use at any time as well. There is literally no excuse for me not to be perfect with my wedges next year. On to my final point. Number 5 is the easiest and quickest way to lower your handicap. I bang on about this a lot on my channel. You need to know how far you hit the golf ball. Not enough of us know how far we hit the golf ball with each club, and it's really holding us back. Okay, so we might have a 10 or 15 yard gap that we think that the ball flies in. But if you really want to hit the ball closer to the hole next summer, you need to know how far you're actually hitting the golf ball. Book a gapping session with your local pro. In a gapping session, you'll go through the whole bag to find out how far you carry the golf ball. Knowing how far you carry each club is going to help you dial in your distances so you can hit it closer to the hole. Closer to the hole means lower scores. Not only is the pro going to be able to tell you how far you're hitting the golf ball, they're going to be able to give you a standard deviation. Knowing the standard deviation is going to give you a sort of minimum expectation of how far the golf ball should fly. And that number is arguably more important than the average carry. You're going to be able to use that number to be able to fly over a body of water or get over that greenside bunker. And if you want another reason why you should book a gapping session, the pro's going to be able to tell you how far on average you miss left and right. All of these numbers are going to be able to help you pick a club and where to aim. And if you get those 2 things right, you're going to hit the ball closer to the hole next year. And like I said, closer to the hole, lower scores, better golf. Guys, that's the end of the video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch all of this video. Considering you've made it this far, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I'm putting content out every single week dedicated to mid-handicap golfers like me and you. So make sure you subscribe to not miss out. I'll see you next week.